What if I told you that everything you think you know about football is about to change? What if the future of the beautiful game doesn't lie in the hands of Messi or Ronaldo's successors, but in the feet of a teenager who wasn't even allowed to drive a car when he scored his first professional goal? This is the story of Lamine Yamal. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why football will never be the same again. Picture this. It's July 14th, 2024, the European Championship final. Spain versus England. 90,000 fans packed into Berlin's Olympia Stadium. Millions more watching around the world. The tension is suffocating. And there, in the middle of it all, is a kid who just turned 17 2 days ago. Most 17-year-olds are worried about their driving test. Lamine Yamal is lifting the European Championship trophy. But that's just the beginning of the story. Because what Lamine has done isn't just remarkable. It's impossible, or at least it should be. Let me take you back to where it all started. Mataró, a small coastal town near Barcelona. Nothing special, you might think. Just another Mediterranean town where kids kick balls against walls and dream of greatness. But in 2007, something extraordinary happened. A boy was born who would rewrite the rules of what's possible in football. The signs were there from the beginning. While other kids his age were learning to tie their shoelaces, Lamine was already dancing with the football. His first coach at Escola de Futebol de Barcelona still remembers the first time he saw him play. He was 6 years old. 6. And he was doing things that made grown men stop and stare. He didn't just play football, his coach recalls. He spoke to the ball, like they were having a conversation nobody else could hear. By the time Lamine was 8, Barcelona had already spotted him. But here's where the story gets interesting. They didn't just sign him, they studied him. Because even at 8 years old, Lamine was doing things that defied explanation. Most young players learn football step by step. First touch, then passing, then dribbling. Lamine seemed to understand everything at once. Like he was born with the game already downloaded into his brain. But talent alone doesn't change football forever. What makes Lamine different isn't just what he can do. It's when he's doing it.
I've seen anything like it since Messi.
He's a chosen one.
Yeah.
He's a chosen one after Messi.
The best player in the world right now is Lamine Yamal.
I think he's the best player in the world, to be honest.
Let's talk numbers for a second, because these numbers will blow your mind. At 16 years and 362 days, Lamine became the youngest scorer in European Championship history. At 17 years and 1 day, he became the youngest player ever to appear in a Euros final. At 17 years and 249 days, he became the youngest Clasico scorer in the 21st century. But here's the thing about those records. They're not just numbers. They're not just statistics to impress your friends. They represent something much bigger. They represent a fundamental shift in how football works. For decades, football has operated on a simple principle. Experience matters. Age brings wisdom. Young players need time to develop. You start in the youth teams, maybe get a few minutes off the bench, slowly earn your place. And if you're incredibly lucky and incredibly good, you might become a star by your mid-20s. Lamine Yamal has taken that entire system and turned it upside down. He's not just playing the highest level. He's dominating it. He's not just competing with grown men. He's embarrassing them. He's not just participating in the biggest games. He's deciding them. And the way he does it, it's like nothing we've ever seen before. Watch Lamine play, and you'll notice something strange. He doesn't look rushed. He doesn't look nervous. He doesn't look like he's trying too hard. While defenders around him are panicking, while stadiums are erupting, while the pressure is building to unbearable levels, Lamine looks calm. Impossibly calm. It's like he exists in a different timeline. Like the chaos of football doesn't touch him. He receives the ball, and suddenly everything slows down. Not for us watching, for him. He sees passes that don't exist yet. He creates spaces that weren't there a second before. He solves problems before most players even realize there's a problem to solve. This is what scouts call football intelligence. But what Lamine possesses goes beyond intelligence. It's like he can see the game from above, like he's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. And then there's his left foot. Well, that left foot.
Here is Lamine Yamal. Goes inside again. He'll finally be able to get a curling shot off and score for Barca. The big man for the big occasion. Lamine Yamal.
Remember Messi's goal against Getafe in 2007? The one where he picked up the ball in his own half and dribbled past 6 players? Football fans still get goosebumps watching it. Messi was 20 when he scored that goal. By 21, he was already being hailed as the heir to Maradona, the face of Barcelona's future. People thought he was impossibly young, a once-in-a-generation prodigy arriving ahead of schedule. But here's the twist. Lamine still has 3 years before he even gets to that point. And unlike Messi then, he's not yet playing at his true level. What the world is seeing now is only a preview, the opening notes of a song that could last more than a decade. That's what makes it feel like a passing age. Messi seemed young at the time, but compared to Lamine, he wasn't. Messi was already an established player, hardened by years with the first team. Lamine is still finding his place, still learning the game, still just a kid in football terms. Yet his impact is undeniable. He doesn't just look like the future, he feels like it. This isn't only about talent, it's about timing. Messi set the standard for what young brilliance could look like. Now Lamine is showing that even Messi's timeline can be challenged, maybe even rewritten. It's as if the next chapter of Barcelona's story is being written while the ink from the last one is still dry. But goals are just the tip of the iceberg. What really sets Lamine apart is how he thinks about the game. Modern football is obsessed with statistics. Distance covered, passes completed, touches in the box. Managers have computers full of data telling them exactly what each player should do in each situation. Football has become predictable, systematic, safe. Lamine plays like those computers don't exist. He takes risks that make coaches nervous. He attempts passes that shouldn't be possible. He dribbles when he should pass. He shoots when he should cross. He does everything wrong according to the textbook. Somehow it all comes out perfect. This is what football purists have been waiting for. A player who plays with joy, with freedom, with the kind of instinctive brilliance that made us fall in love with the game in the first place. But it's not just about style. It's about results. And Lamine's results speak for themselves. In his first full season with Barcelona, he didn't just make the team. He transformed it. Barcelona went from a club struggling to find its identity to a team playing the most exciting football in Europe. And at the center of it all was a teenager who shouldn't even have been on the pitch. The Euros were supposed to be his learning experience. A chance to get used to international football. Maybe play a few minutes here. Maybe score his first international goal if he was lucky. Instead, he announced himself to the world. That goal against France in the semifinal, the one where he created something from nothing, turned a hopeless situation into the winning goal. That wasn't luck. That was genius. Pure, undiluted genius. And when Spain lifted the trophy, when confetti was falling and grown men were crying with joy, there was Lamine, 17 years old, European champion, the youngest player ever to win a major international tournament. But here's what nobody talks about. Here's the really scary part for every other team. This is just the beginning. Think about that for a second. Everything we've seen from Lamine Yamal, every incredible goal, every impossible assist, every moment of magic, all of it happened before his 18th birthday, before he's even reached his physical peak, before he's had time to truly understand just how good he can become. Most players don't hit their prime until their mid-20s. Lamine is already playing at a level that most players never reach. So what happens when he actually does reach his prime? What happens when he combines this natural ability with 5 more years of experience? The answer is terrifying for defenders around the world. But it's not just about Lamine himself. It's about what he represents. A new generation of footballers who refuse to wait their turn, who don't believe that age determines ability, who see no reason why they can't compete with the very best from day one. Look around football today, and you'll see them everywhere. Pedri, Gavi, Jamal Musiala, Jude Bellingham, a generation of teenagers who are rewriting the rules. But even among this golden generation, Lamine stands apart. He's the one they all look up to, the one setting the standards, the one proving that anything is possible. And that's changing how football clubs think about development. For years, the strategy was simple. Sign talented kids, develop them slowly, loan them out, bring them back when they're ready. It was a long process, a safe process, a boring process. Lamine has shown that the best young players don't need to wait. They don't need time to develop. They don't need to learn gradually. If they're good enough, they're old enough. This is causing a revolution in youth football. Coaches are being bolder with young players. Clubs are giving teenagers chances they never would have considered before. The entire ecosystem is changing because one kid proved it could be done. But perhaps the most remarkable thing about Lamine isn't his ability. It's his attitude. In an era where young footballers are often criticized for being arrogant, for caring more about their image than their game, for losing touch with reality, Lamine remains grounded, humble, focused on improving. Watch his interviews and you won't hear boastful claims about being the best. You won't hear complaints about not getting enough recognition. You'll hear a young man who knows he's talented, but understands that talent without work means nothing. This maturity isn't accidental. It's been carefully cultivated. Barcelona's La Masia Academy doesn't just develop footballers. It develops people. And in Lamine, they've created someone who can handle the pressure, the expectations, the scrutiny that comes with being football's next superstar. Because make no mistake, that's exactly what he is. We're living through a changing of the guard in football. Messi is in Miami, playing a different kind of game. Ronaldo is in Saudi Arabia, still brilliant, but clearly in the twilight of his career. The era that defined football for the past 15 years is in. And the era that's beginning, it belongs to Lamine Yamal. But this story isn't just about one player. It's about hope. It's about possibility. It's about the beautiful unpredictability of football. In a world where everything feels calculated, where data drives every decision, where the magic sometimes seems to be disappearing from the beautiful game, Lamine reminds us why we fell in love with football in the first place. He reminds us that sometimes, just sometimes, a 17-year-old kid with a left foot kissed by the gods can change everything. He reminds us that the impossible is just another word for what hasn't happened yet. And he reminds us that the future of football isn't coming. It's already here. So the next time you watch Barcelona play, the next time you see that number 10 shirt dancing across the pitch, remember this moment. Remember that you're watching history being written. Remember that you're witnessing the birth of a legend. Because Lamine Yamal isn't just changing football. He's changing it forever. And we're all lucky enough to be here to witness it.